Hey, welcome back to Cash Keyboards. Today we're going to look at an interesting keyboard, the Womier S-K87 Ripple. On the box we have the Facebook link, which is pretty funny, and the Instagram link. And other than that, the box is pretty nondescript. Flipping over to the back, we do have the model number, SK87, and letting us know it's gasket mounted mechanical gaming keyboard. Before we move from the sleeve, we do have the Womier logo on the front, and then a black nondescript box. That's about it. Thanks for watching. Alright, just kidding. Let's go ahead and open the box. Alright, opening up the box, the first thing we encounter is the instruction manual. This is a brief guide to go over all the features of the keyboard, including some of the shortcut keys for the RGB. We're going to grab our keyboard. We'll go ahead and set that to the side for a moment. Note, I do like the packaging. It's really snug fit. Inspires a lot of confidence in the shipping, so no damages occur. We're gonna flip this flap back. First, we notice a ton of accent keycaps. I'm assuming to change out the colorway. Then we have the USB-C. And then we have this cool bag. It looks like it actually has a keyboard brush to help with some cleaning in case you need to get some debris out of your keyboard. And it looks like a keycap and a switch puller. Note, I do like the switch puller on this. It's that standard design that comes with any, budget style keyboard, but it's engraved and just looks really cool. I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the theme of the board itself, but it's a nice touch. And of course, the little brush. That's pretty neat. And lastly, there is another accent keycap. It looks like for the escape key. Not sure why the metallic looking alien, but it looks really neat. I'm not going to use it for this build, but we might use it for another build. And that appears to be it. We'll go ahead and close that back up and set the box to the side. Alright, now let's take a look at this keyboard. Remember, this is a 75% layout keyboard. It's gasket mounted, which is really nice. It's got EVA foam, linear switches. It's got a PC slotted plate. But I think the highlight is the case. They call it the Water Ripple. It's a textured case that kind of looks like water. It's part of their acrylic line, and as you can see here, it's dang near see-through. It's got this cool gradient pattern on it where it goes clear to kind of a dark gray black. Here you can see all the layers, and in between those layers it is gasket mounted. It's got EVA foam, it's got a switch pad, which is all really cool. From the back you can clearly see the PCB. Note, there are no adjustable feet on this board, so it's pretty much, it stays where it lays. But it does have a really good angle, so I don't mind it. What I'm really excited about is the RGB, so let's take a look at it. Alright, let's take a look at some of the RGB features. I like that it's dual zone, to where you can change the case versus the switches. It's a really nice touch, and it leads to some really cool customization options. So we're just going to roll through a couple here so you can check them out. Alright, now that we've seen some of the RGB effects, let's see what it sounds like stock. All right, now we've heard how it sounds, let's go ahead and get these keycaps off and see what we're working with. Pulling the keycaps off, these are a cherry profile PVC side printed backlit keycap that allows the RGB to shine through a bit. They feel pretty good, they're nice and thick, and to my surprise, I actually kind of like them. We also get a glimpse at the switch here. These are a Womier box black switch. They don't really have these anywhere listed, so I don't have much information on them. But other than that, we're just going to keep moving and get these keycaps off. All right, keycaps are off. Let's pull a switch out and take a look at it. Like I said, these are the Womier blacks. They kind of remind me of like a cross between a Kale box black and like an Acco cream black. But they do feel pretty good, and they say they are pre-lubed, so we'll have to take a look. Also, this has hot swap 3-pin and 5-pin sockets, as well as south-facing RGB, which is all, again, extremely surprising for this price point. So it's time to get these all out and pop some open and see what we're working with. All right, all the switches are out. Here you can actually see that slotted polycarbonate plate. Sometimes these are a bit of a pain to work with when you're trying to put switches in, but just keep it slow, you'll be good to go. Also, if you look closely, you can see the switch pads in there. This is a really nice touch. All right, let's go ahead and pop one of these open and see what's going on inside. If you've been here before, you know that my switch opener doesn't really like the Ochamo style switches. Anything that has this big side panels seems to have a problem with the opener, and I have 10 openers and none of them seem to open them. So if you have a recommendation, please let me know below, because I'm really tired of hand opening all of these with a little screwdriver. But if you do need to open them like I am, go ahead and grab a small flathead screwdriver, and all you do is slide under the little flaps and they'll pop right open. All right, when we do get it open, I immediately notice that the stem is lubed. Looking at the post, those are also lubed as well. So the switch seems to be pretty lubed. I don't really want to overlube it or work through taking this lube off. And the switches honestly felt pretty good during the typing test. So we're going to go ahead and close this back up, and we're not going to lube these. Seems good. Alright, this is normally where I would take the rest of the keyboard apart, but stock this has switch pads, EVA foam, and the polycarbonate mounting plate, and the switch is already lubed. And we did a sound test that sounded pretty good, so I'm actually not going to take this apart. We're going to put our switches back in and just keep moving on. Do note that having a switch pad though can make the switches challenging to get in. You do need to make sure these are lined up properly, or they pretty much will never go in. This can be a problem if you're not aware of it. Now we're going to move on to the keycaps. Admittedly, this was the hardest part of the build. I didn't want to sacrifice the RGB and the aesthetic of the keyboard with normal keycaps, so I felt like if I could find a pudding keycap that I actually liked with a theme that would match it, it would be a perfect combination. And here they are. This is kind of an Asian ink theme. I really dig it. I like the subtle grays and blacks. I feel like they match the gradient of the keyboard really well. I am worried about sacrificing sound for the aesthetic feel, but these are nice and thick. So here's for hoping. So let's go ahead and get these on here. We'll have a look and a listen. Let's see if the gamble pays off. Now that you've heard it, I want to go over some of my final thoughts. This keyboard is crazy. The case has this awesome water-like texture. It feels great, nice amount of weight, the RGB is a lot of fun, some great surprises like switch pads and decent stock keycaps. But things to take note of. Maybe only remove one switch and check for lube before removing them all if you aren't planning on modding this entire keyboard. That can save you some time and a bit of headache. If you have trouble reinserting your switches, make sure the switch pads are lined up. This is a big problem I've seen people do. If you can't get them in, don't force them, just make sure it's all lined up. The stabs need more attention. This was a mistake I made. I will be revisiting them to make them sound better, but if you're building it or modding it, make sure you pay attention to your stabs. And those are my final thoughts. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please drop a like below and hit that subscribe button. Remember, all the products featured in this video are linked down below in the description. That's it. That's the end. Have a good day.